Okay, so I decided that I would create a tutorial on how to change wheels. We have these images here. Um, Actually, yeah, we have this image here, and we'll get rid of this one because we don't really want to use it now. So we have this image, and obviously, let's say we don't like the wheels for some reason, even though they're really pretty. Let's say we don't like them. So what we want to do is we want to change the wheels to something we do like, just because you can. So we've got this car here. Actually, no, that's really poor quality. Let's think, what wheels? Let's have a look. Bentley wheels might work. Yeah. So let's say we want these Bentley wheels. The Archers, luckily, I think we're going to stick with the tyres themselves anyway. So what we'll do is we get the wheels as to what we need. Usually what you'll do is you'll get your, depending on what type of tyre you're going to use, there's a lot of aspects that you want to take into consideration when you're changing wheels on a car. A lot, like so many aspects. Whether it be what sort of tyres you want or anything. So in this instance, this is what we got. Alright, so we've taken the wheel just as you would. You'd use the elliptical marquee tool, highlight your area, and then you drag it over. And this is one of two methods I would use. And now you want to just size it over to, where your wheel would be initially. So for this instance, it would be about here. You want to just stretch it over as best as you can to fit it, and you want to just grab that. And the same for the rear. Again, see when you're using there's two types of ways, and usually this way doesn't work the best, because if you're trying to recreate a tire or such, or you're trying to place a rim onto a tire, but you're trying to go bigger, you've got to think about the bead on the lip and everything like that. There's a lot of aspects that go into changing wheels on a car in Photoshop. So obviously when you're using a large barreled lip like I am, it's really easy to make it look realistic, and actually fit it very well. Whereas if you're gonna go for just the effect of it looking like it does, and using something, say you're trying to fit it with a 16 inch to a 30 inch or something, it's not a 16 to a 20 inch, and then you're just resizing the rim onto the tire and not actually taking into consideration all the extras, it looks a bit crappy, and it doesn't look as realistic. And in this series, what we're going to be looking at is all realistic features. We're not going to be looking at anything to create digital animation or any crap like that. We're going to be focusing solely on being realistic. And obviously, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you take into consideration the physics and the actual the way things look in certain lighting and such. And in this series, obviously, this is one method of how you change a wheel, like this, and it's very, very simple. And if you're going to do something such as, let's say let's say we're going to change the wheels on this Bentley to something we like as well, just because we can. You would pick your wheels, whichever ones you want. In this instance, we're going to use some. What do we have in here? Do we have any wheels that I like? Um, let's have a look. What angle is it? It's about the angle. If we was to use this skyline here for some reason, let's say this person is so rich that they can put rotor grids on the skyline. This is how you would go about it. You would get your tire and such, because you want to try and focus mostly on your tire. When you're actually transferring wheels, you focus on the tire mostly, because when you're trying to get something to look real, you want to make sure that it has the same effect that you wouldn't you? So you get your wheel, in which this is the wheel we want, and you would transfer it. It's mostly the tire wall that matters. It's not really so much to say the other things. It's just the tire wall that matters, um, because obviously we're going to be darkening it up and such anyway. Um, so we have this, and obviously as you can tell, it's fitted, and it looks like it's fitted, and it's the correct angle, i.e. all that sort of stuff. Now the thing is, obviously the wheel looks alright, but the tire doesn't look real, does it? Because it's not quite done yet. So the way you do this is you would go about it like Drinks Outside. Sorry about the sound. You'd Control I and inverse it, and you would use your curves tool to create it to be darker, such as like this. And you give it the darker effect, such as that. And then you have your rotor grid on your Bentley, in which it looks awful, but you know some people might like it. You know, I suppose if you like it, you like it. And I'll just show you in a minute what I mean by um, the whole using tires and using wheels to just resize onto a rim to do the lazy way around it, just to show you how terrible it looks. Let's just resize this one onto here as well. I don't know why anyone would want rotor grids on a Bentley, but you know, if you like it, go for it. If you can afford it, why not? You know, I think there's a lot of aspects that go into putting some rotor grids on a Bentley. In all fairness, so for some reason this looks a bit odd, but let's use that one, and we'll transfer that again. Put that there. Control Y, and set the curvature to that. And as you can see, that's pretty much how you would do that. And obviously you want to go for your realism, so you know you make sure you try and get everything as best as you can. And now obviously, let's say, as I've said already, you know, I'm going to show you what it looks like when you try and just resize a wheel onto it, and it looks okay. I mean, you know, it looks fine in that sense, but when you're going for realism, you want it to look as real as it can possibly get. So this is how people would do it, and they would just stretch the wheel over, and they just put it up, and it just, I don't know, it just doesn't look as it would because there's no bead lip. You'd have to create a bead lip around it, and I'm just too lazy to do that sort of stuff. I'd rather go for a correct wheel size to fit it. I mean, you can if you want, but you know, I wouldn't do it. So yeah, initially this is what I would do. You know, and obviously the Bentley wheels fit on it nicely, and you know that's pretty much how you go about it. You want to just fit the lip and everything. And yeah, I've tried to keep this video as short as I can and short and sweet. But obviously, if you like it, you know, I'd appreciate a like or a comment if you need it, or even subscribing. But if you like my footage, you can like my Facebook page, which is down in the link, down in the description below, which is Digital Reality. And if you know like the video or subscribe. And if you need anything, you know, comment what you're stuck on if you get stuck, and I'll try and help you out as best I can. And I look forward to seeing you in the future.